Hi there, Victor Pross, anarchist artist, talking to you. Okay, I'm going to pick up my conversation, or my talk rather, concerning the conversation that Stefan Molyneux, anarchist philosopher, had with independent thinking Laurette Lynn, who designates herself as Unplugged Mom. She has her own website. I can put that in the body of this YouTube. And I do advise you to take a listen to Stefan's conversation with Laurette, and look at her website and what she's all about. And she designates herself, as I said in my preamble video, that she designates herself as Unplugged Mom because she's decided to homeschool her children. She's quite the independent thinker, to homeschool her children precisely for the reason because the state-mandated quote-unquote education is entirely corrosive to her children's intellectual and moral development. She saw that. She knows that. She wasn't springing forth from any kind of anarchistic volunteerist philosophy. She simply made an empirical, rational identification of the facts and acted accordingly to her lights. So that's exactly where she's coming from. And the whole school of anarchist thought is it's pretty new to her, and I think that she got a very good introduction from her conversation with Stefan Molyneux. So in catering to that, I'd like to add some of my own thoughts. Not that I'm in any kind of league with Stefan in breaking these matters down as if he alone could not do it, but insofar as it has any interest to her to hear what I have to say about it, somebody who is an anarchist or / volunteerist, and just for those who are listening to my videos all the same. One of the things that I'd like to make there's a lot of things I could touch on, of course, right? But just to touch on a few things when it comes to a stateless society, an anarchistic society, and a society that does have a state and a government, is that is really just getting right down to the fundamental philosophical roots. Is that volunteerism, by its very name, or anarchism, is a peaceful philosophy. It embraces the non-aggression principle. That is core to anarchism, is the opposition to violent hierarchies. I know that you do have the anarcho-communist branch of anarchism where they oppose all hierarchies, and they have a much wider definition of what constitutes hierarchy. And it's usually in a very negative sense that they use the word hierarchy, to which they are opposed beyond the state. But for the purposes of this conversation, since I'm more or less in the camp of anarcho-capitalist, which itself needs further exploration and explanation, it's really the Murray Rothbard school. It's really just comes down to the state as a violent monopoly on the initiation of force that I'm opposed. So you have that. You have the state, and then you have which is just violence. It's monopolized, institutionalized violence versus anarchism, which embraces the non-aggression principle. That is the clash. That is the fundamental ethical clash. And so that's to say that when it comes to statism and anarchism, it's not like it's two competitors, 2 points of views that have their own validity and merits. It's kind of like, well, I like to, I want to have an open mind and look at both and things like that. Statism is not a competitor to anarchism. Okay, it's in the same sense that two businesses in the same industry can be viable competitors to one another. They're both offering, it's all voluntary, they're both offering viable desired services, but they're in competition with one another, and so therefore they're worthy contenders, and both have their merits and viability. No, it's not. That's not the same for statism versus anarchism whatsoever. Okay, and one thing that really is important to stress here too is that anarchism embraces liberty and freedom, And it's really important to understand what freedom means in the context of the Murray Rothbard or anarcho-capitalist sense means. It's not freedom as the the leftist socialist bromide goes, that a hungry man is not free, or the religious mystic who considers the restrictions of an objective reality is limiting him from exploring his true spirituality, the materialism of the secular world, and he's therefore not entirely spiritually free. There's some kind of coercion, living in the world, and you have that pining for the supernatural realm of the Platonic realm of ideas to come, and he's not free. There's so many ways that how freedom has the word and the concept has been used. But when it comes to anarchism, freedom means only one thing in a social political context. It means freedom from physical compulsion. It means freedom from physical force, initiatory force. And it's very straightforward, very simple in that sense, very simple and straightforward. Taxation is force. The imprisonment of peoples for victimless crimes is the initiation of force. The compulsory mandated indoctrination of state schooling is the initiation of force, and so that's basically where you have the issue of force. It's freedom from physical force, and where you do have the state, you have the monopolized, institutionalized initiation of force. Okay, that's the state. Not only is it monopolized, it's where there's no competitors when it comes to the state and the of its functioning. In that there you have other competing agencies that have arrogated themselves the right to initiate force. No, it's an exclusive monopolized institution on violence. So it's a double plus boo hiss on that one. So and that there's no competitor. So anarchism is not something that is a competing with statism in that way. Anarchism is not freedom, and liberty is not something that has to be justified. It's not like, and it's not something where let's hear the merits of that side and weigh that against the the benefits of what statism has to offer. Okay, it's the difference here is between disease and decay is no competitor to health. Okay, it's an aberration. It's detrimental. It's against the life forces. It's not a competitor, in the same sense as two businesses offering, as I said, viable desired services on a free market who are in the same industry. It's not in that same kind of leveling or playing field. So you can basically emphasize it this way, that let's say that a lot of people have the question, well, would a stateless society, would it really work? And I'm just kind of like dumbfounded on that kind of like approach, like stateless society, volunteerism, yeah, but is it practical? Would it work? What proof do you have that it would work? And these are people who have that kind of those type of questions. Just fundamentally, just don't get it. They really just don't get it. Because if you're asking those kinds of questions, it proves to me that you truly don't understand where anarchism is coming from, where the anarchist is coming from. It's one thing to disagree with a philosophy and with a given set of ideas if you fully understand them, if you truly and fully understand them, and thereby to find yourself that once having studied it and examined it, and you have a full grasp of what the central issues are, and to disagree with it. But if you disagree with a philosophy based on a lot of false presumptions, mistaken premises, and a lack of a complete and thorough grasp of what the philosophies offer, well, you're not disagreeing with it. You're just wallowing in your ignorance. That's all you're doing. You're just spurting out sounds of when you say things like, would it work though? Yeah, well, Yeah, of course it would work, though. But a standard of you, like I said in the first video, having some kind of like conflict-free utopia, angels flying all over the place, non-aggression, where there's no conflict, no human conflict whatsoever. That that therefore anarchism is not a perfect philosophy. So it has its Mars, and it has its downside just as much as statism. So it's not perfect. So no, that's not the case at all. So I do encourage you, Laurette, if you are listening to this video, to really examine the philosophy, to dig into it, ask questions of Stefan, watch his other videos, watch my videos for that matter, and truly get a grip on it, and decide through your own intellectual independence, which you have exhibited very clearly, of what the school of thought is all about and what it's not about. And from there you can certainly make a rational decision, and where you stand on all these matters. You're certainly off to a good start, where you've decided to remove your children from compulsory schooling, and I do congratulate you on that. And let me tell you that that's a beautiful swash right there of independent anarchistic thinking right there on the spot, if not implemented in action, most definitely. So anyway, thanks for listening. It's Victor Pross, anarchist artist, signing out. Pop goes to culture.